First we had the Babadook, then It Follows, maybe Goodnight Mommy in between. And now the latest in this string of the return of true horror, we have The Witch. Also known as The Witch, a New English folktale. What's up with that, with the double V's? Anyway, another often recommended / requested movie. And just like with It Follows, I actually saw this one during its theatrical run. And well, once again, here I am, so let's take a look what all the fuss is about. So, it's the early 1600s, remember that? And we follow an English family in New England, where they, after being banished from this plantation, move outside to this farm in the middle of nowhere, close to the scary woods. Woo. All is good and well, given the circumstances, until, baby Samuel goes missing. Fuck. The father is convinced a wolf took him, but the younger kids keep saying that it was a witch. Anyway, more shit happens to the family, like their crops going bad, their son getting ill, and the mother is convinced the family is being cursed by the Lord and blah blah, and well, I actually don't want to give away too much, in case you haven't seen this movie, but given the title, you might have an idea of what's going on. I mean, there might be a witch. So, I've seen this movie twice now, and I'm actually really glad that I did. Like I said, I first saw it in theaters, but there were no subtitles, and I had honestly no idea what was really going on. See, back in the 1600s, they talked a little different. And I'm honestly not a big fan of this old English language and way of talking. Sure, it might be authentic, but that doesn't mean that I have to like it, right?
I beseech thee, Catherine, what canst thou do for him presently?
What?
I thought it far exceeded the affection of the Countess husband.
What is she saying? It might seem like not that big of a deal, that I'm just nitpicking, but really when I recently rewatched this movie with subtitles, all of a sudden I had a much better idea of, not per se what's going on, but definitely more like why things are happening. The thing is, I don't really want to go into the story a lot more. Not that much happens, and the remaining stuff I just don't want to spoil. It's actually kind of hard for me to really say anything about this movie, so let's just do it traditionally by looking at the things I did and the things I did not like. These are the things that I did like about it. It looks great. The locations, the compositions, the lighting, the color grading, it really works well all together, and it really fits the somewhat depressing tone of the movie, especially in combination with this 1:66:1 aspect ratio. It gives the whole movie a bit of an old school vibe. The whole movie would have definitely felt very different was it shot in, for example, anamorphic widescreen. Yeah, the whole look is probably what I like most about this movie. Although, I was also quite impressed by the performance of the oldest daughter, played by Anya Taylor-Joy. She did a heck of a job. It's a shame that the other kids weren't that great. The boy, his acting felt kind of forced.
And if I died this day.
And the little twins were mostly just annoying. Yeah, the girl, well, and her dad, they definitely stole the show, performance-wise. Yeah, overall it was very well made. Add to that an effective soundtrack. Really, there were parts where it was, just the soundtrack by itself that made it pretty creepy. Reminded me a lot of that scary music used in 2001, A Space Odyssey. So yeah, it's well made, but still I can't say that I really like this movie. Although at the same time I definitely did not dislike this movie. It's hard to explain. I think that it's just that I never really got completely involved into the movie, and in the end I just didn't really care. Maybe it has to do with the old English, maybe it has to do with religious themes which sometimes manages to piss me off. Maybe it was the slow pacing. I honestly don't know. I mean, I didn't mind the slow pacing in It Follows, and another heavily religious themed movie, Ken Russell's The Devils, set around the same time and also involving witchcraft. That's one of my all-time favorite movies. So I honestly don't know what it is about this movie that just didn't grab me the way I hoped it would. Really, I feel like this movie is actually really good. I just don't love it, which is frustrating, definitely, but also kind of hard to explain. You know, like maybe this doesn't make any sense what I'm saying, but that's just how I feel. You know, like how I experience this movie. Let me try to explain. The movie looks great. Overall, there's great performances, and it's quite consistent in tone and the whole vibe. And that's all positive, you know, that's the good stuff. But it just never really managed to drag me into the whole story, the whole movie. And I think that is the biggest problem that I have. I just never really felt engaged, rather just a little disconnected. Does that make sense? Also, don't expect a super scary horror movie. Like the subtitle says, it's a folk tale. It's like a scary tale passed on from generation to generation. You know, like a campfire story. Or maybe even a scary fairy tale in a way. Perhaps more important, it's not so much about the witch itself, but in my opinion definitely more so about the effects it has on the family and the way they're dealing with everything that's happening to them. I'd much rather call this a supernatural drama / horror. Perhaps not even the supernatural, it's the whole marketing, of course, just went the traditional scary horror movie way. It's quite misleading. For example, the trailer makes it out to be way more intense than it actually is. Ooh, it feels like we're watching something we should not be seeing. What are you talking about? It's no snuff or child pornography. Something we're not supposed to see. It's just a period piece drama / horror movie. What are you not supposed to... So, in conclusion, this review sucks. I know, I'm sorry. It's just, I don't really know what to say about this movie, but I did want to cover it, you know, I did want to talk about it to you guys. Maybe in a couple of months, you know, when I think back to this movie again, I'm like, oh yeah, it was actually, like, really good. It's just, as of right now, I don't know, you know, I just don't really have the desire to watch it again anytime soon. Still, it's definitely an interesting new addition to the horror genre. Just know what to expect while going in. That's it for me. You guys have anything to add to this? Let me know. Cheers.